If it's Monday night, it is the Wrestling Forum. So, hello, friends. It is Ridiculously Over Anthony Florio once again sitting in tonight for the Hardcore Python Derek Ferreira as he is covering Monday Night Football. I am joined tonight, as always, by the Cerebral Viper Michael Fletcher and as well as the Phenom Michael Bullock. Um, it's another edition of Monday Night Raw. You know how we do it here on the Wrestling Forum. We run down Monday Night Raw, our thoughts on each segment, what have you. So, yeah. Um, Monday Night Raw tonight was live from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. So with that said, let's throw it out there. Let's get started with our first segment of the show. We're gonna do things a little bit differently tonight because of circumstances. Let's just say I had a little chat with Michael Fletcher about this earlier, and there's one segment that he wanted to lead off on so badly that I had to figure out a way for that to happen. And luckily for you, Fletch, me being the studying and research fool that I am, I found a way for that to happen. So you're going to get your wish here tonight because, I aim to please. Unlike the authority, I know what the people want, and I give the people what they want. So Michael Fletcher told me, he said, I want to lead off on this segment. I want to lead off on this segment. Well, you're going to find that. You're gonna lead off indeed. And so that's what I had to do. So Michael Bullock, don't feel left out. Michael Fletcher wanted this one. I mean, when Fletcher wants something, you got to make sure he gets it. Because I don't know. Because if I had said no, well, he probably would have, left the show, and it would have been best for business. So yeah. So yeah, authority should take my advice. You're right. So I accommodated you the other night for NFL Saturday. So we started very late, and then so that's why, because I give the people what they want. Simple as that. So with that
Unlike the
said,
authority when they don't give us what we want.
yeah, and they gave us a lot of that tonight. And Michael Bullock, I do want to fair warn you. You may have to lead off on a couple of the dud enhancement stuff tonight. You might. Luck of the draw, man. Luck of the draw. That's all there is to it. Yeah, no, 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 indeed. Don't forget, we're still on the same team. We're still on the Yes Movement. I mean, Yes Movement's never gonna die. You know that. I mean, we're still Yes Movement guys. But of
Even though
course,
the authority thinks of this guy.
I don't know about the Yes Movement. They tried to pull that in San Francisco today, and it didn't get very far. If you've seen baseball today,
yes,
the
I heard
the
about it.
Giants
Nope.
could not sweep the Nats.
No, the
So
Nats stay alive. But we'll get to that another time. I mean, it is exciting stuff, no question about it. So, all right. So now that we have everything, cleared up and up to date and everything else, so all right. So with that said, let's give this a go, and maybe next week we'll go back to normal. But for right now, but for this week only, we're doing things a little bit differently, because I aim to please. So here we go. We started off with Seth Rollins, Mr. Money in the Bank. He comes out and cuts a promo, and then all of a sudden we get mass interruptions. We get Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury, the new or as we call them, the Cruiserweight Stooges, as Mimi Jean now calls it. They have a Mimi, these two guys now, called Cruiserweight Stooges. And then, of course, as you know, they're trying to make them the next Patterson and Briscoe. That's what they're trying to do there. And then John Cena comes out, brouhaha, and then Rollins goes through the crowd, and then there's Dean Ambrose going nuts, and then Triple H and Steph come out, basically set up the main event. So that's basically what it is. So with that said, let's start the new format. Michael Fletcher, your thoughts on this opening segment?
yeah, this is a great segment. This is a great way to start Monday Night Raw. We were hoping for a hot show tonight in Brooklyn, New York, because, just like in Chicago or Miami or Boston, or hell, I'll even say in Providence, Rhode Island, normally these are WWE strongholds, and these are territorial gold mines. So, in the last few years, or at least in the last, I want to say, couple of years, WWE has done a couple of shows in Brooklyn, New York, and I think we both can agree. Anytime they've been in Brooklyn, they've hit it out of the park. So I mean, we were kind of hoping for that again tonight. Well, we'll be very modest about how we're gonna feel about the show. I will say that tonight, but I definitely say that this was definitely one of the top segments of the night. Seth Rollins comes out. basically saying how angry he was about everything that went down a couple of weeks ago. But then they showed the footage of how everything went down as it pertains to what the Authority did to John Cena and to Dean Ambrose, and how much they were so happy about it. And yeah, um, then you could say the Cruiserweight Stooges, Joey Mercury and Jamie Noble comes out, and they were thinking that, oh, it was going to be about, maybe Dean Ambrose was going to come out again, try to jump Rollins, and they were trying to get him out of the ring, and he was like, I'm standing here, I want to fight you guys, I'm here, so if you want some, come get some. One problem. Golden Boy, John Cena, he shows up, and next thing you know, he gets his hands on Rollins. Rollins jumps through the crowd, basically yelling at Cena, "Yeah, you think you got me? I'm smarter than you. I'm better than you. I'm this and that." One other problem: they let a lunatic in the crowd, and the lunatic fringe shows up, and next thing you know, here we go again. Another brawl ensues. They try to get everybody into the situation, and then the buzzkill. Trips and Steph shows up out of nowhere, basically to set up for what was going to be the table for the rest of the night. And they're like, well, you want a shot at Seth Rollins, you're going to get it right here tonight in a handicap match. But the thing is that it's Seth Rollins, Corporate Kane, and Randy Orton against Dean Ambrose and John Cena. Then Dean Ambrose does something, well, me being very familiar with New York City because my family was originally from New York. As a matter of fact, I know I don't know how they're going to feel about it, but I'm going to say it anyway. My grandfather actually lived in Brooklyn, New York for many years, a number of years. So when they're talking about Atlantic Avenue and, the Brooklyn Bridge and all that stuff, every summer when I was a little boy, when I was growing up, especially in my elementary years, and maybe a little bit of Riverside Junior High, like maybe 7th, 8th grade, every summer I used to take at least one or 2 weeks, and I always end up going to New York City. I used to go to Brooklyn, New York, to a place that is still standing to this day. That's called Catman Plaza West. That was where I used to hang out. That was my place. That was my where I used to spend my summers for a couple of weeks. And when they were talking about Atlantic Avenue and everything else, back then, Atlantic Avenue was really kind of, it was still blossoming and everything else. Now, this was way before they did the remodel of Brooklyn and the creation of the Barclays Center. That was way before then. So I remember going to all these landmarks and all these great spots. So the next thing I know, the Ambrose is like, you know what? I'm not feeling it tonight. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the subway. I'm going down to Coney Island, which is a great spot in Brooklyn, New York, people. You got to go down to Coney Island. Best roller coaster around. And during the 4th of July, man, do they know how to shoot off some freaking fireworks, man. They had the best fireworks show in Coney Island, man. Those are the best. I mean it. I swear to God. They're great. And the next thing we know, he's like, you know what? I'm going to take the Q train, and I'm going up to Coney Island. John Cena got left in the ditch. John Cena is now stuck in a 3-on-1 handicap match. Gee, if you're the IWC, you're thinking, this is best for business. Oh, this is so great. This is beautiful. John Cena's going to get his comeuppance tonight. He's going to get destroyed in Brooklyn. Well, we'll wait and see about that. We'll definitely wait and see about that. But solid start to the show. Second best segment of the night for me. Anthony, it's all yours, bro. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Had a little slow stuff there, but yes, very solid segment to the start to the show indeed. I mean, Seth Rollins in this top baby face in this top heel role. I mean, doing some great things still. I mean, you know, Authority doing what they do best. Starting the show like they always do. I mean, that's all there is to it. And Rollins came off very heelish here, which was very nice. And then John Cena gets involved. Ambrose. I mean, it was a crazy start to the show. And then Authority makes the announcement. Cena and Ambrose going up against the Authority, Rollins, Kane, Orton, and a 3-on-2 handicap match. We'll get to that in a little bit. Major developments with that throughout the night, but yeah, it was a typical paint by numbers way to start the show as usual, and a good backstory there, Fletch, about your New York roots. I mean, you told me all about those for many years, So I mean, great to hear those stories again. I'm glad that you shared it with our viewers as well. So I'm sure they'll get a kick out of that. So yeah, very good start to the show. I would probably say second, maybe third best segment of the night. Not the segment of the night by any means. Oh no, we're gonna get into that later, and judging by the Cheshire Cat-like grin on both of your faces, well, especially Michael Fletch's, because he's gonna be leading off on that segment as per his request. You know what that's gonna be, and oh boy, did it change the complexion of this show in a heartbeat. No question about it. It changed the complexion of the show in a heartbeat, no doubt about it. Second or third best segment of the night. Really can't. I mean, but it is one of the top segments of the night show. One of the positives of this show. Not the number one positive, but it was definitely a positive nonetheless. It was a good way to start. But in a way, it was kind of typical and paint by numbers, cookie cutter, But I felt it came off all right. So that said, Michael Ball, get yours.
All right, yes, hello friends, this is the Phenom Mike Bullock, and the Vice President of the Rhode Island chapter of the Yes Movement, here for another night of the Wrestling Forum. Yeah, I mean, yes, Seth Rollins comes out, does his typical heelish promo, and yeah, and then of course we got Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury coming down, and it basically looked like, I mean, it's almost like they become a version of Pat Patterson and Gerald Briscoe when they were serving for Mr. McMahon as members, of course, of the corporation. So, yeah. And then, of course, John Cena comes out and he slides into the ring to try to basically get a piece of Seth Rollins, but Rollins is like, he's got that grin on his face and says, "Not tonight, Cena, not tonight." But little does he know who's in the crowd. Who's in there? The lunatic fringe, Dean Ambrose, and all I can say is we got ourselves a good old-fashioned Donnybrook, and both guys want a piece of Rollins, and then of course, Mercury and Noble basically they break it up, and then who else but the Authority come out and they say, you know what, we're getting sick and tired of all this, and you want a piece of Rollins? Well, you're gonna get Seth Rollins tonight in a handicap match. But it's gonna be Seth Rollins, Corporate Kane, and Randy Orton against John Cena and Dean Ambrose. One problem, like Mike Fletcher just said, later on in the night they did have a little promo, and Dean Ambrose said, you know what, I'm gonna take that trip to Coney Island, and he ditches John Cena, and looks like it's gonna be now a 3-on-1 handicap match. And as soon as we saw that, you knew the IWC was probably saying, now that's what's best for business. What's best for business? John Cena is finally going to get his comeuppance. Would he? You're going to have to wait to find out later on when we review that match. So I'll say the second best segment of the night. So that being said, Wario, let's move on to the first match.
And move on to the first match we will. It was. Let's take a look. Let me make sure I have my notes correct here. Just bear with me for one moment. A little slow here tonight. Okay, here we go. Um, it was a six-man tag team match. It was Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion Dolph Ziggler teaming up with the Usos, going up against tag team champions the Dust Brothers and Cesaro. Winners of the match in 12 minutes and 20 seconds, Dolph Ziggler and the Usos. I'm going to take this one. Fight of the night. I mean, what else is there to say? This was far and away the fight of the night. I mean, come on. I mean, very entertaining match. I mean, you got six great workers going at it in a very highly entertaining match, and it's very clear that when it comes to the pay-per-view, they're clearly trying to set up a tag team rematch with the Usos against the Dust Brothers. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. And then on top of that, it looks like they're trying to plant the seeds for a Dolph Ziggler and Cesaro Intercontinental Heavyweight title feud. And according to Derek Ferrera's house show report, because he went to the house show at the Dunk the other night, he said that Ziggler and Cesaro did fight for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship during that show, and he said it was the fight of the night. He gave it between 3.5 to 4 stars, that particular match. And also, on top of that, he called it, like we always like to call, certain types of matches on the forum, a wrestling forum be a man fight, and that's exactly what he called it. He called it a be a man fight, and he said that he would love to see a Cesaro and Ziggler IC title feud. I would too. I'm sure you guys feel the same way. I mean, wouldn't you like to see a Dolph Ziggler, Antonio Cesaro Intercontinental title feud? Need I say, duh. I mean, that would be best for business, absolutely. You do that sucker at Hell in a Cell? Yeah, we'll pay $9.99 for the network. No question about it. So this match not quite 3.5 to 4, but it is the fight of the night anyway. I'm gonna say between 3 to 3.25, maybe 3.5. To be honest, I kind of wanted to see a little more, but for what we got, I felt it was very good. And like I said, no big surprise the faces went over. They usually do in these kind of matches. You definitely want to get the crowd hot at the start. That's always been, a peeve of mine. Try to get that crowd as white hot as possible at the start of the show. But don't worry, we'll end up being dragged down soon enough. So that's all I can say about that. And I did forget to mention one other thing before I throw it up to Michael Bullock for this fight. What's a Wrestling Forum show without memes, folks? And yes, there will be mass memes from Ridiculously Over Anthony Floyo here tonight, especially when it comes to one of our segments on this show tonight, because, I mean, the way this certain segment went down, I was not a happy camper, if I can say about that. And there's going to be, usually I do one, maybe two, but there's going to be a mass meme dosage on this particular segment. That's going to be coming up in just a little bit. So 3 to 3.25, teetering on 3.5. Fight of the night, far and away. There's really nothing left to say except Michael Bullock, it is yours.
Well, I guess we could say, according to Anthony Florio, Meme Mania is running wild tonight. So, yeah. So, as far as this match goes, yeah, this was definitely the fight of the night, without a doubt. I'm gonna go more towards 3.25 stars for the match here. I mean, it was good for what it was worth during that amount of time. And all in all, we had some really good back and forth action here between these six guys. And yeah, and I mean, as far as what happens later on, I mean, I definitely want to see Dolph Ziggler going up against Cesaro for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. Maybe we could get that Hell in the Cell, and somehow I get the strange feeling we're going to get another match between the Usos and the Dust Brothers at Hell in the Cell for the Tag Team Championships. I just get the strange feeling on that. I know they already had their rematch on SmackDown, but I think we're going to get one more match between these two for the Tag Team Championships, but we'll have to wait and see on that. All in all, 3.25 stars, definitely the fight of the night. So with that being said, let's move on to Flex.
At least 3.25 stars is my rating for this fight. I thought this was a very good match, no doubt about it. Definitely fight of the night by de facto. But other than that, I mean, I do believe that the Dust Brothers and the Usos are on the collision course for another tag team title fight. I don't know how this is going to play out. I think the Usos will win it. I think the Usos are going to win the tag team titles. I think they'll regain the belts. But then, we might have an interesting situation because off of what Anthony Florio just told me before we started the show tonight. This was during our private chat because we were talking about the vignettes that WWE did earlier tonight where we saw, well, I'll say it like this. We kind of saw the parting of the Wyatt family where Rowan and Harper had their own vignettes and how Bray Wyatt was saying, "You are now free. You are no longer. You can continue your web of whatever you want to do to spread the righteousness throughout the world." So, and there is a certain tag team in NXT right now that we have been begging for to get called up. And I think the Buzzards are following. I think the people are about to get what they want. Are you ready for the Ascension to make their debut in WWE? If you are, then jump on that bandwagon and you ride that sucker till the cows come home. But if you're not, then you will perish and be destroyed by the future WWE Tag Team Champions. And I'll go as far to say this. This could be by Royal Rumble, but I think I know the best date for that one. Silicon Valley, California, San Francisco, whatever the hell you want to call it. Levi Stadium, WrestleMania 31. I think we're going to have new tag team champions on that night. Let's move on.
Oh, Michael Fletcher doing what he's done for the better part of 20 years since our legendary partnership began, sending chills up and down my spine, man. That's what you do best. You've always found a way to do it. He just did it again. Oh, man. Not only that, but you also gave me an adrenaline rush, too. I mean, I just got one. So on a night where I really needed one. So, all right, let's get to it here. Unfortunately, this is the first of major, and I do mean major, hard times. Well, then again, what's a Monday Night Raw without them, especially over the last few weeks? God forbid. All right, here we go. And I know Michael Bullock is already cringing because he knows he's got to lead off on it. I mean, I warned you, Bullock. I gave you fair warning. So here we go. It was a segment. Today's show hosts Kathy Lee and Hoda, they were in the house tonight. As if that wasn't bad enough, Adam Rose and the Rosebuds, they felt the need to make an appearance on this. So I don't know what else there is to say. Michael Bullock, I am so sorry, man. You know I love it. You got to lead off on this one, I'm afraid.
No.
No.
Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Kathy Lee Gifford, and I love Hoda Kotb. I mean, especially with the way they do their fourth hour of the Today Show, which of course airs at 11 a.m. on NBC on weekdays. I mean, and they do a fantastic job with that. And I mean, especially for Kathy Lee, especially after coming off of with a career as the co-host of Live with Regis and Kathy Lee. But this was not good at all. This was just horrible, horrific, and then you throw in the Adam Rose and the Rosebuds. This is why Anthony Florio was going on this record saying so many times, and I joined him in it. Don't be a Rosebud. be a lemon, and I'm damn proud to be a lemon. Yeah, I know Fletch is not too happy with that, but you know what? I don't care. I'm sticking with it. But I don't know what else there's. You know what? You know what? I'll bet you everybody in Brooklyn was taking a cat nap during this segment. I definitely was taking a cat nap as well. So, oh, I don't know what else there's to say. I mean, Hoda Kotb and Kathy Lee Gifford, they're great and they're beautiful, but oh, not when it comes. I mean, putting them in a segment like this, nope, don't like it at all. Move on to Fletch.
This one was weird. This one was bizarre. I mean, we've had some bizarre moments in WWE history. We had some bizarre segments, to say the very least. But this one was awful, man. There was no. I mean, you could have used anybody, but this was just bad. And the thing was, they used them as special guests to promote about, the WWE's initiative about the breast cancer walk and everything else, and the breast cancer awareness and everything else. And I get it. I think it was cool that they used that for that element. But at the end of the day, they made it. It just didn't. It didn't work. It did not work. Nobody bought it. The fans absolutely dumped all over this. I mean, I was reading Twitter, I was reading Facebook, I was reading the dirt sheets. Everybody, every single person ripped this segment to shreds. That's how bad this was. So, Michael Bullock, Anthony Florio, I don't blame you guys for being lemons with that, but I mean, I get it, I understand it. I'm not gonna rip you fellas for it. Any other time, I'd be like, yo, let me, come on. It's party time all the time. And I'll tell you, the Brooklyn fans were going nuts. At the very beginning, they were doing the oh. They were getting all jacked up. They loved the theme song, but I understand that. But it did not deliver. It was a bad segment. I'll admit that. I can't defend it. I cannot defend this. I'm sorry, I can't. But at the end of the day, I understand why they did it. I understand why they try to do it. But WWE, you swung and missed. What happened was you were thinking fastball, fastball, fastball. You got fooled by an off-speed pitch. You got fooled by an off-speed pitch, and I'll say it like this: you looked horrible at this. So I'm sorry, I didn't like it. Anthony, it's yours.
Yes, I was very busy because I was like I said, I told you all there was going to be a mass Mimi dosage as it pertains to a certain segment. Well, this was the segment right here. I was in the process of making them. Yeah, you're gonna love a lot of these. So I do apologize if I'm like wasting time here, but this is something. I mean, I don't want to really go too off here, but you guys are gonna love these memes here. So let's start with the one I just created a moment ago. This is the first of quite a few, so bear with me. Kathy Lee and Hoda on Raw tonight? Ugh, gonna put some butts in the seats. Wait, who the hell am I kidding? Yeah, exactly right. So, yeah, I just want to make sure. There you go, guys. There it is right there. You see it right there. Tony Schiavone, the butts in the seats, Mimi, one of the most popular memes on Mimi Gene today. I mean, yeah, Kathy Lee and Hoda on Raw tonight. Did you really think I was going to put some butts in the seats? Yeah, right. Who the hell was he kidding? So yeah, so there's your first one right there. Well, if you guys like that one, well, you're definitely going to like a couple more of these that I got. All right, let me see what I have. All right. Well, I'm gonna do the one that is best gonna the best way that Michael Bullock's gonna end up. This is one that Mr. Bullock and I we're gonna have some fun with this one because this is our guy. So here you go. You're gonna love this one. All right, here we go. Kathy Lee and Hoda? No, 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 no. Indeed not. Get that out of there. And well, that one was for Mr. Bullock. The Tony Schiavone one was really for my twisted pleasure. And well, let's just say what else? If I did a Mimi for me and I did a Mimi for Bullock, I got to do one of Michael Fletcher's favorite Mimis. And Mikey, I think you know which one I'm talking about because this one's practically your favorite, and I know you're gonna love this one. You know where I'm going with this one. Oh yes, your favorite, Mikey. You know what your favorite Mimi is. Your boy, CM Punk apologized. Here you go. You booked Kathy Lee and Hoda to appear on Raw tonight. Not even gonna bother because you already know what I'm gonna ask you to do, and you better make it good and not half-assed like everything else you do. So there you go. CM Punk apologized. Of course, that's one of Michael Fletcher's favorite memes of all time. That basically sums up what a lot of people were feeling tonight. Hear that crowd in Brooklyn? That crowd in Brooklyn. Pissed all over that. I'm surprised they didn't even chant boring, boring. I know if I was there, I would have. Complete and utter waste of time. I mean, I know it's for a good cause and everything, and I'm not going to knock that. But, no, not the way to do it. They would, however, redeem themselves later in the night when it comes to that. I mean, they did another one of these later on, but all I can say is the one that they did later on was a gazillion times better. That's all I can say about it. Much, much better. And I can't wait to get into that because that was definitely one of the major positives of the show tonight. So, complete and utter waste of time. And I'm just going to come right out and say it. Worst segment of Monday Night Raw in 2014. Bar freaking none. I mean, yeah. You wonder why your ratings are in the goddamn toilet? Because of nonsense like that. Absolutely horrible. Complete and utter waste of time. And Michael Bullock, I'm surprised you didn't do this, but I'm gonna throw you one here. In the immortal words of Ren and Stimpy, come on, Mr. Bullock, you know what to say. Idiots. Indeed. That's all there is to say about that. Absolutely horrible. Complete and utter waste of time. I do have another Mimi in mind, but I'm gonna get to that in just a little bit because I want to keep the show going here. There is one more Mimi I'm gonna do as it pertains to that segment, and you're gonna love that one. So, all right. So with that said, let's move on here. We got to lead off on. We got to move on to the next match. It was the inspirational Bo Dallas one-on-one with the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, winner of the match via countout in 1 minute and 55 seconds. The inspirational Bo Dallas, and unfortunately, Michael Fletcher gets the wrath of the luck of the draw. Michael Fletcher now has to lead up on this one. I'm sorry, Fletcher, but you got to lead up anyway.
Oh, yeah, you don't envy you, Fletch.
You know what? I gotta say, man, this was horrible, man. I mean, okay, I understand why they're doing it. They're trying to make Mark Henry pissed off, angry, doubting himself. There's always been that talk that maybe he might be leaving WWE soon, that this could be it for his career and whatnot. But, I mean, he lost to Bo Dallas again. Alright, that's bad enough. But now you had to have the nerve to have him counted out? Really, WWE? No. No. I mean, I'll give it maybe a half a star for the effort, and I'm being real generous with that. But come on. I mean, another reason why WWE is going down in the dumps. I mean, I didn't like this fight at all. I was very disgusted with that fight. I mean, I was head scratching the whole time. I'm head scratching the whole time. What did Mark Henry do to get buried? And that's what's going on. It's a burial job. I mean, what did he do? I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. Hopefully there's something in the dirt sheets or something that'll shed some light to it. Other than that, Florio, go, man. Just take it.
Yeah, I do have a couple more memes as it pertains to that last segment in just a little bit, but I do want to mention on this fight, absolute dud. I'd probably say it was the worst fight of the night, although there were many of them. I mean, this one was terrible. I mean, I know they're trying to get Dallas over. I can understand that, but at the expense of the world's strongest man. I mean, I haven't read anything in any dirt sheets about Henry having any heat on him. If he did, this would make sense. But I haven't heard anything about any heat on the world's strongest man. And quite frankly, yeah, after having to sit through that monstrosity that was that segment beforehand with you know who, I'm not going to mention them. I mean, if you thought that was bad enough, I mean, you thought it couldn't get any worse than that. Then you gotta throw in a dud enhancement fight on top of that. Good Lord, man, that's no. And you wonder why the three of us could, along with Derek Ferrera, could produce a 3-hour weekly episodic Monday night show a hell of a lot better than the monkey suits in Stamford, Connecticut nowadays. That's all there is to say about that. So, absolute dud, worst fight of the night. Although there were a whole lot of them, like there always has been. Yeah, it's a shocker there. So. Point of this was what exactly? Oh, that's right. There wasn't one. Absolute dud. Worst fight of the night. Bullet go.
Yeah, dud. Yeah, pointless, unnecessary, unacceptable, inexcusable, irresponsible, borderline reprehensible. I mean, what was the point of this? I mean, there was no point of this. I mean, this is why WWE, or should I say Monday Night Raw, has been going down the crapper as of late. Not just because of that segment, but because of horrible, horrific matches like this. This is why Mr. McMahon's got the brain of a 6-year-old child. And you know what? You could pretty much say Triple H has also got the brain of a 6-year-old child as well. I mean, they may be getting a laugh out of this, but I got news for them. I'm not laughing about it. Florio ain't laughing about it. Fletcher's not laughing about it. And if I know Derek Ferrera was with us, he wouldn't be laughing about it one iota. I mean, whoever the Maroon is writing the script for the show, or with the way he's been writing Monday Night Raw, whoever that Maroon is, his ass should be fired immediately. Because, I mean, if I was running the show, the things I would do. I would cut the promo segments down, put on very good matches, and cut the dud enhancement crap. Because we are getting so sick and tired of this nonsense. And unfortunately, we got more on the way. And oh goody, I'm really looking forward to talking more about that. Yeah, right, up my ass. So nothing else to say except I'm done. I'm finished with this nonsense. WWE, you take your done enhancement fillers, shine it up real nice, turn it sideways, and stick it straight up your candy asses. Move on.
Woo!
Could
God damn!
Could that be some foreshadowing of some things to come? I wonder.
It definitely sounds like it. That was pretty damn good, Omar.
Well, I got a couple of, as promised, I got a couple more memes for you as it pertained to the nonsense segment. Here you go. Kathy Lee and Hoda on Raw tonight was bad enough, but they trended worldwide on Twitter as well. That's the final insult. I quit. Oh wait, I already did. My bad. So there you go. Tim White, one of our favorite memes on there. Yeah. And then you're gonna love this one. You thought that was funny. Wait till you see this one. You're gonna love this. I'm going to inject Monday Night Raw with a lethal dose of Kathy Lee and Hoda. That's exactly what he did. Oh, and we got a lethal dose of that sumbitch, no question about that. So
just imagine next week because they're gonna be. I believe they said they're gonna be down in Atlanta, and
yeah,
I just found out that we're getting a lethal dose of Nene Leakes.
That's even worse. God forbid. I mean, you thought Kathy Lee and Hoda was bad. Oh, it's gonna get much, much worse.
No.
Next week.
No.
Yeah. The Yes Movement and the anti-authority, we're definitely going to be having we're definitely going to have a lot of displeasure about that next week. So, and it already gave me the idea. for another meme, another ammo. Well, I tripped over that one myself. So, All right. With that said, let's move on. There will be more memes later on. Don't worry, because I know how much my memes are a hit. All right, let's move on. Well, it gets better here. I mean, well, we do get better here. I mean, it was an in-ring segment. Dean Ambrose called out John Cena, and well, I'm gonna take this one. Well, at least I get to lead off on a positive for a change. So, yeah, I mean, I probably would say this was the second best segment of the night. I think the opening segment may have been a little bit third here. This was definitely the second best segment of the night. I mean, I love Dean Ambrose's character. I've always loved the guy ever since he came in, with the Shield and all that. I mean, an Ambrose and Cena feud could definitely, work. And oh boy, I mean, as it pertains to the development we saw tonight, as it pertains to the pay-per-view, I mean, oh man, that's all I can say about that. And great exchange here. I mean, Ambrose was saying, "Don't give me a reason not to like you," and then Cena said the same thing, "Don't give me a reason not to like you." Well, and then they went at it, and then that's when Ambrose said, "You know what? I'm gonna get on the Q train, go down the Cyclone, go to Coney Island, get a hot dog and everything else. So good luck tonight." And there you go. So I'm starting to think maybe those dirt sheets I read some time ago about Dean Ambrose possibly being the next Stone Cold Steve Austin, the second coming of it. I'm starting to think that those dirt sheets might actually be coming to fruition here. I really do. I mean, he's got a long way to go to catch up to the career that Stone Cold had. I mean, when you look at everything that Stone Cold did, I mean, he won damn near every title that they had in existence, including Royal Rumbles and the WWE title multi-times, Intercontinental, Tag Team, King of the Ring, Hall of Famer, no question about that. So, Mr. Ambrose has a long way to go, but hey, you know what? I could see him maybe being Stone Cold 2.0. But then again, I thought a certain straight edge superstar from Chicago, Illinois, was the second coming of Stone Cold Steve Austin, but he's nowhere to be seen. So that's all there is to say about that. So second best segment of the night. I thought it came off very good. I'm loving the chemistry with Ambrose and Cena. They're working out great. So yeah, crowd loved it. I loved it, and to me, I thought Ambrose came off better than Cena did, even though they both came out good. I gotta say Ambrose was more of the star here. So that said, Michael, both with yours.
Yeah, this is definitely the second best segment of the night. I mean, yeah, like you said, I mean, Cena and Ambrose basically going back and forth, saying, "Don't give me a reason not to like you," and yeah, and yeah, and then like he basically said, he says, "You know what? I'm gonna go to Coney Island, and I'm gonna next man and go there. So good luck to you tonight, John Cena." And Cena had that confused look on his face, like, "Huh?" Yeah. So this is definitely the second best segment of the night. So there's really nothing else to say except let's move on to play.
Yeah, I agree with that. I thought it was very solid. I thought it was a good segment, no doubt about it. Um, you know, Ambrose and Cena. I mean, you could tell there's definitely some blood in the water. They definitely had that look like they don't like each other because they both want the same thing. They both want to get their hands on Seth Rollins because of the fact that, well, for Dean Ambrose, Rollins put him through some cinder blocks and laid him out. For John Cena, he cost them the WWE World Heavyweight title when he had Brock Lesnar almost kind of dead to rights, if you really think about it. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not going to complain much about it, but, I mean, it was good, solid segment. I liked it. I just thought the stuff at the beginning of the show was a little better than this. To me, this was the third best segment of the night. So with that said, let's move on.
Yeah, move on. We will. Let's see what we have next. Well, it was the first of two Divas matches. It was Brie Bella with one arm tied behind her back, going up against Summer Rae with Layla in her corner. Winner of the match in 1 minute and 55 seconds, it was Brie Bella. Yep, and Michael Bullock knows he's covering himself up. I think we all know why.
It did it again.
Yeah, the luck of the draw, unfortunately, it's like spinning the wheel and let's make a deal and landing on the zonk, and that's exactly what happened with Michael Bullock in this case.
I
I'm sorry, man. You got me off. Oh, God.
don't envy you, man. I don't envy you, Bullock. You know that, man. Oh
But
man.
remember, I fair warned you. Remember.
Yep.
Oy, 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 oy. Typical ho-hum diva fight. Absolute dud. And the point of this was what exactly? I mean, well, obviously this is. I mean, you saw Nikki Bella at the top of the ramp. I mean, this is basically her giving Brie Bella a taste of what she went through. Of course, being, yeah, of course, promoting Total Divas. What else when it comes to that? I mean, I mean, promote. I mean, you want to continue to promote Total Divas on Monday Night Raw. I mean, there's a thing called commercials where you can promote them. Uh, not on Monday Night Raw, not on a show like this. I mean, oh, I mean it. This was, and I know the IWC was not liking this match whatsoever. They were taking a dump on this match, and I was taking a dump on it too. And that's another reason why Monday Night Raw has been so bad, because last week we had not one, not two, but three typical wholesome diva matches. And, and here we get another one of those, and this is why the Divas division is so bad right now. I mean, the only good thing about it is the Divas champ AJ Lee, Paige, Natalya, and you can also put Naomi in there because she's a pretty good Divas wrestler, but everyone else, I'll just say, when it comes to that. I mean, don't get me wrong, they are beautiful, but they can't wrestle themselves out of a freaking paper bag. I mean, it's ugh. You know what? I'm done. I'm finished with this freaking nonsense. Fletcher, go, go, go.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. But Mike Bullock, I think you missed something here, and you missed the point. Yes, it's a home diva fight, but look at this. For months, when Brie Bella was away, Nikki Bella got thrown into all these fights. One arm tied behind her back. Handicap fights. And what happened? She lost every single fight. Think about this. All of a sudden, Brie Bella has been thrown into a handicap fight where she went up against Cameron and Eva Marie. She won. Tonight, she got thrown in the ring with one arm tied behind her back against Summer Rae, and she won. Wait a minute. She's trying to be punished by the authority, but she's rising up to the occasion, delivering the goods, and is winning them fights. Now, I'm no rocket scientist over here, but is that so-called power of the yes movement that's willing Daniel Bryan's wife through these victories lately? And not only that, but it has to be dealt, and it has to be thought of. Brie Bella is a former Divas champion, definitely well-renowned. We all know that. But don't you think that maybe this could be the launching pad for Brie, where maybe they're building her up so that there might be a major letdown at the end. Who knows? But she's already won 2 fights that her sister could not win. Let alone she's got a great marriage. She's got Daniel Bryan, and we all know how the IWC feels about him, and especially when it comes to the realm of this wrestling form, how much he is admired and loved. And I mean, what the hell? I'm with the president and the vice president of the freaking Yes movement, for God's sakes, here tonight. So, I mean, yes, it was a bad fight. Yes, Ho Hum Diva. But, Mike Bullock, I think you missed the golden opportunity here. Think about everything that has happened in the last couple of weeks. They're trying to make Nikki Bella the better Bella. But already, Brie has had 2 big wins. And those were 2 fights that not even Nikki could beat.
So
And
we can say that. So we can say Brie is better than Nikki right now after these 2 wins.
exactly. Because remember, they're trying to punish her because she's anti-authority. She's rising above the authority. The Yes movement is pushing Nikki Bella to bigger and better things. Now, we could talk about the total diva thing and this and that, but to me, there's no need to get into it. Because there's another angle that's being worked here. There's another angle that's being played here. And that angle is not just who's the better Bella twin, because that's already being determined right now if you see the body of work in the ring. Why the hell have we not seen Nikki Bella in the ring in the last few weeks? I mean, since she lost, I don't even think we've seen her once in the ring since she lost that fight to Paige and AJ Lee back at Night of Champions. Has anybody seen Nikki Bella in the ring since?
Nope.
No. And how many fights has Brie fought in? Maybe 2, 3, 4 fights lately. And the last time I remember, and if memory serves me correctly, she's won all her fights since then. I mean,
Yeah. So here's the thing, Fletch. Until Nikki Bella can get into the ring with Brie Bella and prove that she can she can beat her, I think Brie's the better Bella.
well, I agree with that, and I'm not going to discount that, and I'm not going to disagree with that. There's no doubt about it. Right now, she is the better Bella. But she's like, I want the Bella name. The Bella name belongs to me. Well, one problem, Nikki. You're going to have to earn that name. That name's not given. And yes, it's blood, it's this, it's that, it's whatever. But at the end of the day, Brie is proving to be better. Now, could she become, Brianna Danielson? Take the name of Daniel Bryan? She very well could. There's no doubt about it. They could market her around that. The Yes movement will embrace it because remember, 2 weeks in a row, she started doing this. She started doing the Yes. Let me tell you, Chicago embraced her. Brooklyn embraced her. There's nothing more to say about this. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah. All very good points there, Michael Fletcher, that you just made about that, and Bullock too, for that matter. Match was a dud. I mean, it was horrible. I mean, that's all there is to say about that. But all I can say is, I mean, Human Division, another one of the reasons why WWE's in major trouble right now, and I understand that the Total Divas are more over than the actual wrestling divas, which is a crime against humanity. If I'm being quite honest with you. But it is what it is. So that's all there is to say about that. But I know I've been going Mimi crazy on this night, but I did forget to show one last other one that I created, and this is definitely a very funny one, to say the very least. And I've also come across some memes that other fans have done that have definitely caught my eye, and I'll share those later on because I thought they were just so freaking hilarious. But here's the last one from me for now. The only reason why Kathy Lee and Hoda were on Raw tonight was because I wasn't available to kill the buzz in Brooklyn. So that's all there is to say about that. Dr. Shelby, Michael Bullock's favorite. So who would you have rather?
Oh, Lord, I gotta kill you.
Wouldn't you have rather had this guy than Kathy Lee and Hoda? Yes.
No, I don't want that dingbat on my TV. Hell no.
I agree with Fletch. I'd rather have Kathy Lee and Hoda than that dingbat.
Hell,
Okay.
I would not even mind Nene Leaks over that jack off.
Oh yeah. Okay. But that's all there is to say about that.
And he
So-
could take his work and he could stick it right up his ass.
Well, I found a very funny meme that echoes your sentiments, Michael Bullock. I'll share that later on. But oh man. So with that said, another funny meme to say the very least. So with that said, let's move on to the next moment. It was another one-on-one match. It was the Real American, Jack Swagger, with Zev Coulter in his corner going up against Tyson Kidd with Natalya in his corner. Winner of the match in 3 minutes and 15 seconds. It was the Real American, Jack Swagger. So let me see. Bullock led off, so that means Michael Fletcher, you lead off on this one. Your thoughts on Swagger and Tyson Kidd?
Okay, here's the thing. Again, a little bit of Total Divas because of the fact that, there's been rumors going around about, that there's marital problems between Tyson Kidd or TJ and Natalya, and that's been on full display. And not only that, but it's also been on full display on NXT, which you guys can see on the WWE Network for $9.99. But enough about that. So I understand why they did that. And of course, when you get the Real American, Jack Swagger, you get Uncle Zeb Coulter too. So, I mean, it was okay for what it was worth. It was, I want to say, minimal action, I think is the key word here. So, maybe 1.5 stars is my rating for it. And Michael Bullock, I know you like to do this, so I must ask you, and all Real Americans, please stand up, put your hands over the heart, and in a loud voice say, "We the people." Florio, it is yours, bro.
I forgot to unmute the mic. Yes, we the people, one of our favorite three-word models on this show. Of course, you all know what the other one is. Feed me more, a la Ryback. So, maybe we'll have a moment with that later on. You never know. But yeah, Fletch. I mean, that was very well done indeed, Fletch. But yeah, I mean, the match was all right. I mean, it wasn't a dud or anything. I mean, it was probably 1 star at the absolute best, 1 to 1.25, maybe 1.5 at the absolute best, because there was some solid in-ring action here. Because you got 2 solid workers here. I mean, nice to see Tyson Kidd actually wrestle in a match on Monday Night Raw. I mean, I can't remember the last time he did that, but yeah, the marital issues between Tyson Kidd and Natalya, which we've seen on Total Divas. I mean, has definitely been well documented, and but I hate, in a way. I mean, seeing during the match, this Tyson Kidd pulled Natalya in front of him. Gee, who did that remind you of? Oh yeah, Randy Macho Man Savage and Elizabeth from the early days. Hello, that's exactly what that reminded me of. But other than that, I mean, for the 3 minutes and change that we got for this fight, I mean, I felt that it was definitely it was solid as it can get. So I'm going to give this between 1 to 1.25 stars for the effort. That's all I can say about that. So, okay. Moving on to...
I didn't even talk about it yet.
Michael Bullock, it's yours. I thought you already went, that's why. All right, go ahead.
No, I didn't. I thought the match was fine for what it was worth. I'll give it probably around that same rate of 1 to 1.25 stars. I mean, I mean, it was, yeah, I mean, there was some alright action for what it was worth, and yeah, when Tyson pulled Natalia like right in front of him, did have that feeling of what Randy Macho Man Savage did to Elizabeth, of course, when Macho Man was a heel. So yeah, it had that little reminder of it. So yeah, it's nice win for Swagger. So yeah, there's really nothing else to say except 1 1 1/4 stars. So Florio, let's move on.
All right, let's move on indeed. Coming up next, I mean, let's see, what do we have? Oh yeah, we had the segment, one of the segments we were waiting for, Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns was scheduled to be on the show. Gives an update about his injury and everything else. And okay, as far as this is concerned, I'm going to take this one. I'll say it like this. I'm glad. I mean, definitely sounded encouraging, to say the very least. Thing is, though, I heard that Roman Reigns was actually supposed to be in Brooklyn, was supposed to be in the ring for this segment, but unfortunately he was via satellite on this one. But in a way, the via satellite was kind of expected, to be honest with you. But you know, I'm definitely we're definitely intrigued as to where he said it's only a matter of time until he straps the vest on and is back in the ring. And he said it with the right attitude, and it would happen a lot sooner rather than later. And he said he rather would have been there, and the crowd popped for that. So, in a way, I mean, as much as it was nice to see him there, it was kind of a little bit on the pointless side, only because unless they had plans to surprise the fans and have Roman Reigns show up in the arena later on. But yeah, I mean, because the only criticism I have of this is there was a dirt sheet that said he was going to be on the show. He was going to be in the ring, but unfortunately he wasn't. He was via satellite. And I kind of would have liked to have seen him in the ring, like we saw with Daniel Bryan at Money in the Bank during that kickoff show when he announced his status. Of course, they actually showed a snippet of that during the Total Divas last night, which was nice little trip down memory lane to see him there. So yeah, this came off as I'm definitely encouraged by the news, and I am hopeful that he ends up being back sooner or later. Because remember, this is the guy who's definitely got the rocket pack strapped on him, and if he's back in time, we're here in December, maybe January, we don't know, and if that's the case, well, he should be back in time for the Royal Rumble, and if that's the case, then he's going to win the Royal Rumble. Because remember, he almost did last year, but unfortunately, they had other ideas, and they wanted to put Batista over. And how well that went over in Pittsburgh. Yeah, right. I mean, the crowd in Pittsburgh crapped all over that one. No doubt about it. And I mean, that was one of the reasons why this year's Royal Rumble match was not as great as the 2013 match. But 2015, I can guarantee you, is going to be a damn good Rumble event. And especially if Roman Reigns is ready to come back, and if he's back in time for that, I'm telling you, you heard it here first. He's going to win that thing. I'm telling you. The only one I could possibly see getting in his way of that would have to be, and hopefully they get it right this time, a certain ridiculously over superstar, if he's ready to come back. And I wouldn't be surprised if they end up being the final two. Can you imagine what that would be like if they were the final two? Wow. That's all I can say is wow. So many scenarios, so little time to figure it out. So I'm happy to hear about Roman Reigns' prognosis. I just would have liked to have seen it in the ring via satellite. It was kind of a little pointless. So to me, it was a 50-50 type thing for me. So with that said, Michael Bullock, it's yours. Your thoughts on Roman Reigns' little announcement there?
Yeah, I mean, it was encouraging to see Roman Reigns tonight. I mean, I did hear the same thing. I heard he was supposed to be there, but unfortunately he will be in Brooklyn, but he was there via satellite, and I mean, good to see him, but I'd rather would have seen him in the ring, and I do agree, it's a little bit on the pointless side when it comes to that, but yeah, definitely some encouraging news about Roman Reigns, and hopefully we can see him back sometime before the end of the year. Because, like you said, he's got that jet back on or rocket back on, and ready for a big time push, no doubt about it. So yeah, it was 50-50 for me. So yeah, so nothing else to say except let's move on to Flex.
Yeah, I guess you're right. It is what it is. I don't think it was much to really talk about. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Anthony, it's yours. Short, sweet.
Oh boy, here we go. And Michael Bullock once again, and I promise you this is the last time you're gonna have to. I'm hoping this is the last time on this night that you have to lead off on another piss poor segment. But here we go. He's already got, yeah, he's in his obligatory pose. What else is new? Coming up next after this, great to see Roman back, but it was not great to see this. El Torito versus Mini Gator. Winner of the match in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. It was El Torito. And Michael Bullock knows, and that's why he's covered up yet again.
I think we just found a new meme. Somebody's gonna have to screen cap that thing and do enough. We gotta screen cap it some way somehow. Get that photo when Bullock has his head. We could do a meme off Mimi Gene Oakland. I know there's no longer you're no longer allowed to do custom memes, but there has to be a way. We gotta do it. Come on, it's priceless.
I only wish we could call it Michael Bullock not impressed. That's all there is to it. But then again, no, Michael Bullock mortified. That's what it is.
Yeah, Michael Bullock mortified because that's definitely it.
No, we'll try it again. Mortified Michael Bullock. That's the way.
Yeah. There you go.
No, I got it. Mortified phenom. That's how it is. The mortified phenom.
Yep.
That's all there is to it. So
you got it. We just got to figure it out. We'll get it.
But nonetheless, El Torito beats Mini Gator in 2.5 minutes. Mortified Phenom, I'm sorry, man. Hopefully this is the last time. It's yours.
Oh my gosh, that is just horrible. This is just worst fight of the night. Absolute dud. Pointless, unnecessary, unacceptable, inexcusable, irresponsible, and borderline reprehensible. I mean, what was the point of this? I mean, come on. El Torito versus Mini Gator. I mean, this is another reason why Monday Night Raw is going down the crapper. I mean, I don't get this. I mean, come on. I just don't get it, WWE. I mean, why do you stick this right up our asses every single time? I mean, it's bad enough with some of the matches that we had tonight, but this one, I don't know who the Maroon is, but you know what? I'm calling this whoever this guy is that came up with a match like this. I mean, who in the freaking hell do you think you are for booking a match like this? I mean, El Torito and Mini Gator, to me, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. And if I was running the company, I'd fire your ass immediately. Because you give us campy comedy, bull funky, gobbledygook nonsense like this, and you really think that's going to put some butts in the seats and eyes on the screen? It's going to put some butts in the seats, all right. A toilet seat, ayo! Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of people, when they were in those toilet seats, were taking a dump, especially on this match. So, I got nothing more to say on this piece of crap of a match. Dud, 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 dud. And the WWE, you idiots! Move on, Fletch. I'm done.
Yeah, there's nothing more to say about this. This was horrible, man. I mean, another bad segment, another bad fight, another. I think we all could agree that at this point, this was easily becoming the worst show of 2014. I mean, This was far and away one of the worst fights of the night. Another dud. Nothing to save this one. Anthony, you go.
Yes, I mean, absolute dud. I mean, absolutely horrible. I mean, we've been sick of this feud for the longest time. I mean, they shoved this down our throats, when they had that little WLC match at Extreme Rules and then all this other nonsense that they had. I mean, this is why, you saw the meme I did last week, the Vince McMahon injection lethal dose meme, the one where it said, I'm going to inject Money Night Raw with a lethal dose of dud enhancement matches, campy comedy, bull funky nonsense, and unnecessary filler. Well, you just saw all that in one. I mean, it was a dud enhancement match, it was campy comedy, bull funky nonsense, and it was unnecessary filler. That's all there is to say about that. Point of that was, oh, that's right, there is no point. There's never a point with anything they do. So, absolute dud. Another one of the worst fights of the night. Beyond horrific. So, there is absolutely nothing that needs to be said except let's move on to the reason why Michael Fletcher wanted to lead off on this certain segment in the first place. That's why I had to shift this whole thing around, because I wanted to, accommodate him. Michael Fletcher, you wanted it, you got it. So here we go. The moment we've all been waiting for. This is the moment we've been waiting for since we started this show tonight. It was Rusev. It was Lana. They come out for a promo, talking about what the Big Show did last Monday night, the typical Rusev and Lana stuff. And then Rusev calls out the Big Show, said, come on, Big Show, I want you, I want you. And we're all expecting, well, it's the Big Show, and true story. I'm sitting here in my room, I'm on my bed, I'm relaxing, I'm damn near passed out. I'm so freaking tired. And then all of a sudden, what do we hear? We don't hear, well, it's the Big Show. Oh no. What do we hear? If you smell what? If Michael Fletcher and I were doing it at that exact moment, we would have let out the biggest Corey and Sean from Boy Meets World gasp, and Fletch would have let out the biggest what of all time. Because who showed up? It wasn't the Big Show. Oh no. It was. Let me see if I can do this right. The trailblazing, eyebrow raising, jabroni beating, pie eating, blah, pie eating, you know what? The Brahma Bull himself, The Rock, the people's champ, The Rock, in the house in Brooklyn, New York, in the Barclays Center, saving what was going to end up being the most piss-poor Monday Night Raw of all time. Michael Fletcher, we talked about this earlier. The minute this went down, you hit me up. You wanted it. You got it. You wanted to lead off. I had nothing else to say except go nuts. Well, you see the meme right there, folks, courtesy of Michael Fletcher. The Rock returns. What? Oh, yes. That's what a lot of us were saying. So, Michael Fletcher, you wanted to lead off on this segment? Floor is yours, brother.
I'm sorry, I unmuted my mic. I had to unmute my mic because goodness, what a moment! Did anybody think The Rock, the Brahma Bull, was gonna be in the house tonight? Absolutely not. A blindside, a shocker, a stunner in WWE tonight, and the whole internet explodes with The Rock returning. And here's the thing, guys. I actually got some backstage news bits before the show went on the air. This was not even planned. This was literally at the last minute. The Rock was in New York at Time Warner because of the fact that they were just doing some things. There were some things that they were working, some business that they were attending to. That's why he said he was down in Manhattan, because he was at the Time Warner cable studios at the home of Time Warner because they were working on a project. I think there was a project that The Rock is going to be doing very, very soon. He's got a few movies lined up, and, he was just doing some promotional stuff, some business stuff that needed to be done. So the next thing we know, there was rumors that was circulating that, The Rock was there, he was in New York, but they really couldn't put two and two together because there was nothing that would have attributed to The Rock being on Raw, and that because they had no plans for him. In all the scripts that was being written, there was no plan of The Rock being a part of Monday Night Raw. There was nothing in the script, nothing in line, nothing on the line, and nothing that would have said, "Oh, The Rock The Rock is gonna be on Raw," because nobody saw this coming. We all got blindsided by this. WWE had nothing in the works. There was nothing that, even in all the production meetings and anything else, they all said they did not have The Rock set up for the show tonight. Like, there was nothing. So this was literally a last second switch, a last second move for them to put The Rock on the show. But boy, when they did, the show took off. No doubt about it. When he showed up, I was speechless. I think we all were speechless. I hit Florio immediately. He was hysterically laughing. He was in this state of shock, and I'm like, am I seeing things, or is this really The Rock? Is The Rock really here? What the hell is going on? I mean, we all were like, oh my God, what the hell? So, at the end of the day, what a moment. What a moment for the WWE. I mean, they needed this. We were talking about that they needed a shot in the arm and everything else. It almost makes me wonder, and I really want to wonder this. The timing of it. Was the NFL, was the Monday Night Football game on halftime when this happened? Because if they were, and they had this go down during the halftime, my God. I mean, you want to talk about a perfect storm. I mean, all the Attitude Era fans are going to go nuts. The new WWE fans are going to go nuts. I mean, how much more of a perfect moment could that be for WWE? This was unbelievable. Even I was like, wow. And then The Rock. I mean, he called Lana a Soviet streetwalker. He called Rusev a Chewbacca. It was hilarious. And yes, he was back. He was better than ever. You get the goosebumps up and down in your arms. You're going crazy because the Brahma Bull, the people's champion, and one of the things that made me go crazy, and I felt it. He started out going down, and he said he started his day banging and wanging and banging, flexing and pexing, working in a gym in Miami, takes a flight down, lands at Queens. Well, the only thing that I know about Queens is that there's a JFK airport down in Queens, so that's where you go there. Then he talks about going down to all 5 boroughs. Then he went down to Manhattan, Time Warner, easily to call. Then went down to Staten Island. Then he said he went down to the Bronx, New York, to yell out Derek Jeter. And oh boy, did the fans in Brooklyn went nuts over that. Derek Jeter, captain of the New York Yankees, and supposedly, allegedly, a married man. Supposedly got married over the weekend. I don't know if it's true or not. But there was some reports. Jason Hitzenbog actually reported this, that Derek Jeter got secretly married. I guess he has a girlfriend. Who knew? His life's so goddamn private. We didn't know anything about this. And then the next thing you know, he talks about being back, taking the train, the subway to New York, taking it to Brooklyn to get into the Barclays Center to say probably one of the most legendary lines in wrestling history. Finally, The Rock has come back to Brooklyn. And boy, did the fans embrace him as well. What a moment. And then he talks about why he was back. To talk about Rusev and Lana. And, that we don't hate Russia. We don't. That they just hate the propaganda and all this BS and everything else because of what's been going on. And then Lana tries to railroad The Rock a little bit. Stupid American and this and that. And, well, The Rock was like, you know what? And he's like, Lana, no disrespect, but you're a beautiful girl. You're a beautiful woman. Florio, I know, is going to be all over that. I mean, he'll agree with that any day of the week until the cows come home. And I was the same way. I'm like, yeah, she is a beaut. She's a beauty. She's a beaut. There's no doubt about it. And, we understand the propaganda. We understand the bomb. We understand all that other jazz and whatever you want to call. But then Rusev got. And he got into The Rock's face and told him and said some things that, The Rock hasn't heard before. So, you know what? He says, this is my time, this is my moment. How dare you interrupt me? Get the hell out. Well, all you just did was made the Brahma Bull angry. And when you make the Brahma Bull angry, bad things tend to happen. What happens next? The Rock goes into attack mode and the place blows. The whole place explodes as The Rock beats down Rusev. And the one thing I said to Anthony Florio after the segment was over was, what if we see a Rusev versus Rock at WrestleMania? I mean, don't you think they might have planted the seeds for The Rock to make a return at the biggest wrestling event of the year and to fight Rusev? Now you got the man, one of the all-time greats. This guy will definitely be more than willing to carry the banner of the USA going into that mega fight. But a lot of people were wondering, do you think that what happened tonight was the worst thing that could happen for Rusev? Don't you think he got buried here? It's possible, no doubt about it. But it also made him look strong too, because he went up against an icon of the Attitude Era. Maybe one other guy is just as big about the Attitude Era, and that's Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's another one of the greats. What we saw here tonight, this wasn't just a moment. This wasn't just a wrestling form moment. This was one of the greatest things that happened for WWE. We've been saying we needed something big to happen. Something that's going to make us go, wow. Tonight we got it. Segment of the night. Segment of the year. And more importantly, probably one of the greatest moments in Monday Night Raw history. Brooklyn, for all the dud stuff that happened throughout the night, You got one of the most talked about moments that just went down in your arena in a very long time. Other than Daniel Bryan seeing the light in Providence, Rhode Island at the Dunkin' Donuts Center, this is your Dunkin' Donuts Center moment. This is your moment in the spotlight. This is better than Occupied Raw. This is better than anything that we've seen in our lifetime. We will never forget this night for as long as we shall live. We will never forget that moment for a very long time. And tonight, Brooklyn, you got yourself not just a moment in history, you got probably yourself the dawning of a new era. I mean, the Brahma Bull came back and he was dead on point tonight. It's like he never left. He felt great. It looked great. The outcome was amazing. To me, thank you, WWE. I gotta say it. Thank you, WWE. And thank you, Rock, for showing up, surprising the piss out of all of us. Because that moment, that segment, that everything, that complete awesomeness that we witnessed for over 15, I believe it was over 15 minutes. You literally, single-handedly saved this Monday Night Raw from being the worst Raw of 2014. That one segment alone saved this show tonight. I mean, you had people flipping their channels to Monday Night Football, to other programming. You had a lot of the brothers taking a freaking cat nap, for God's sakes. But I'll tell you one thing. Everything changed when The Rock showed up. Because the diehard fans came back. The WWE Universe showed up. Those people who were watching Monday Night Football quickly flipped to Monday Night Raw. And you had 4 members of the wrestling form basically, if we were in catnap mode or anything else, you woke us up and we were enthralled on the edge of our seats for 15 freaking minutes. Bravo, WWE. Take a bow. You outdone yourselves tonight, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, this was awesomeness with a capital A. It was... I don't even think I could even put into words how I felt in that moment. I don't think none of us can. We all are still, I think we're all still reveling in that moment. We're still kind of in a daze over what we saw. Well, what we saw was the greatest thing in professional wrestling. It's always great to see a legend come back once in a rare while. But sometimes we get ahead. We normally get a little bit of the rumors. We always get a dirt sheet. Somebody says, oh, this guy's going to show up, this guy's going to show up, this guy's going to show up. And we're like, okay, cool. Oh, it's cool to see him. We all got blindsided by this hit. None of us saw this coming. And when it happened, oh my God, WWE, did you hit a gold mine tonight? 5 stars and beyond. Best wrestling segment in such a long time. There's nothing more to say. Anthony, thank you for giving me this moment. It's all yours, my friend. You're up.
Hey, man. like I always say, unlike the Authority, I give the people what they want, and you wanted it, man. I wanted to make sure you got it, so that was for you, man, without a doubt. But it was my pleasure to do that for you. Um, but anyways, now how am I gonna follow that? I mean, because I gotta tell you something. Michael Fletcher is the most eloquent speaker there is. I mean, tonight, oh man, that was amazing, man. I wish I could just give you a freaking Academy Award right now because that was an Academy Award performance. What you just did moments ago, that was awesome, beyond. So that was a special moment, to say the very least, and one of the greatest moments in the history of this program, without question. But we've had a lot of funny memes on this show. We've had laugh riots, we've had rants, and plenty, and we've had some heated arguments, some heated debates. Mainly when we used to do power rankings on this show. Thankfully, we don't do that anymore because those are so freaking tough every week. But Michael Fletcher, that came from his heart tonight. You know why? Because he is one of the most passionate. Bullock is too, and I am too, and so is Derek. But nobody is more passionate of a wrestling fan than Michael Fletcher is. What he said to you tonight, the way he spoke to you all just now, that came from his heart. And that's all there is to it. That's how much he appreciated that moment here tonight. And good luck to Michael Bullock when we get to him because he's going to have to follow him. He's going to have to follow me. And that's all there is to it. So Michael Bullock, you better start getting ready now, man. That's all I can say about that. But anyways, now my thoughts on it. I basically agree with everything Flex said, but let me just say it like this. This is the only reason this is hard for me is because you've heard me go on for the last six or so months saying that the Occupy Raw segment was the segment of the year. From a personal standpoint, it is, but from a professional standpoint, it just got bumped here tonight. That segment with The Rock and Lana and Rusev, when The Rock showed up, oh my goodness. Fletch called me up on the phone. We had a little private chat like we always do, like we usually do here on Monday nights for Raw and whatnot. The minute he did that, when I picked up, and Fletcher, I know you'll back me up when I tell you this like you always do. I was laughing so freaking. I was laughing so freaking hard. You all remember the night where the Wyatt family, they attacked John Cena and Cena had and then we get one of those Wyatt family moments, and then John Cena had the sheet mask on, and remember how crazy I went with that? That's exactly what I was doing the minute The Rock showed up. I was damn near dead to rights. I was passed out. I was tired. I was bored out of my freaking mind. I'm like, yeah, here comes the big show. Whoop-de freaking do. Rock shows up. Oh, I jolted right up. Jolted right up. Because I could not believe what I'm like, you're kidding me, right? And then he showed up, and I'm like, oh my freaking word. Wow. Segment of the night, and yes, I hate to admit it, as much as I love the Occupy Raw segment, from a personal standpoint, it's my favorite segment of the year. From a professional standpoint, this segment with The Rock tonight has just surpassed Occupy Raw as segment of the year for 2014 from a professional standpoint. Personal, yes, it's still Occupy Raw is still it, and I know both probably feeling the same way, seeing that we are the yes movement around here. But it's like The Rock never left. The funny one-liners, the way he came off tonight, that crowd was so happy to see him. It was almost like that was the first time since WrestleMania 20 that he had been there. It was almost like those matches with Cena never existed. As the old saying goes, you can never truly. People never truly appreciate anything they don't usually appreciate it until it's gone. And Rock's gone. Rock was at WrestleMania 30, had that awesome segment with Hogan and The Rock. With Hogan and Austin. And then here comes The Rock here tonight. You don't think those fans were damn appreciative tonight? Hello. They were so damn appreciative of that tonight because they knew that in that one foul swoop, the Brahma Bull had saved this edition of Monday Night Raw tonight from going down as quite possibly not only the worst Raw of 2014, but maybe the single worst Monday Night Raw of all time. Because I had, going into this, the way I had Raw rated, I had it right around a 1 or a 2 out of 10. You get The Rock out there, 5-star segment. That took the show up to about a 5 or even a 6 after this. He saved this show tonight from being the most piss-poor Monday Night Raw of all time. And think about it. Like The Undertaker once said to Shawn Michaels, and Mr. Bullock, I know you remember this, being the Undertaker mark that you are. You remember what he said to Shawn Michaels the night of the Royal Rumble in 2009, backstage? Sometimes you got to go through hell to get to heaven. And that's exactly what we did here tonight. We had to endure so much hell on this show tonight. Kathy Lee and Hoda. The Mini Gator versus El Torito. Brie Bella and Summer Rae, the total diva nonsense. And we had to endure all of that. But the minute The Rock showed up, all of that became a distant memory. Because him showing up tonight was just absolutely unreal. I mean, it's like he never left, man. That's all I can say about it. He was absolutely amazing tonight. And the way he came off, I mean, the one-liners, you know, insulting, the Chewbacca line was hilarious. Soviet Streetwalker, oh, my gosh. And as far as Fletcher's theory about WrestleMania 31, that would be an amazing match to see Rusev against The Rock at WrestleMania 31 at Levi's Stadium in 6 months' time. Oh, yeah. That's definitely going to put some butts in the seats. Literally. That will put like 70, 80,000 fans in Levi's Stadium, no doubt about it. That's a match I want to see. It's a match Michael Fletcher wants to see, and I'm pretty damn sure Mr. Bullock wants to see that too, as well as Derek Ferrera when we get to his review later on. I don't know when his review will be up, but you know we'll post it when it is. But I'm at a loss for words. I mean, Michael Fletcher pretty much said everything. I can't even follow what Michael Fletcher just did tonight on that. Segment of the night, segment of the year, and like Fletch said, thank you very much, Rock, and thank you everybody for throwing us a bone tonight because you know this show is on its way to becoming maybe the first Monday Night Raw in history to get a 0 out of 10. That's how bad this show was. But the minute The Rock showed up, saved the show in one foul swoop. Well done. Everybody came off here great, but The Rock, man, the star on this one. Michael Bullock, I hope you're ready because now you got to follow Fletch, you got to follow myself. Good luck, my friend. You're going to need it.
Yeah, all I can say is, yeah, this is definitely the segment of the night. I mean, when I saw this, Rusev and Lana come out, and she's like, she said, you know what, it's the birthday of Vladimir Putin, and we should all pay our respects to Rusev. And she says, oh, there's not going to be a match with the Big Show. He has been suspended for desecrating the Russian flag, and he should be in prison because of it. And by supporting him, that the U.S. has created a hate crime. And then the USA champ comes out, and then Rusev comes out, and he says that America is no superpower. It's nothing. And that Big Show is afraid of him, and he calls out Show so that he could crush him. And just when it looks like he doesn't come out, Rusev calls him a coward. And then all of a sudden, you hear the music, and I'm like saying to myself, what? I'm like, is he here? Is he really here? And as soon as The Rock came out, I was like, he's here! I'm like, you gotta be kidding me! I mean, this was just out of the back door. Nobody expected The Rock to come out, and everybody in that Barclays Center was going nuts, and I'm pretty sure the IWC was going nuts over this. I mean, The Rock, the guy looks in great shape. I mean, it looks like he's never left. And then when he grabs the mic, you never know what's going to happen. well, The Rock first hesitates, and then Rock uses a familiar phrase when he talks to Rusev first. He says, "There are two things you need to do, Rusev. You need to know you're wrong and shut your mouth." And The Rock basically talked about his morning, saying, "Oh, I was at the." He talks about his gym time, and then he says, "Oh, Rusev wears his shorts up to his nipples so much that he can see his Moscow moose knuckle." And I'm like, "Holy crap! That is vintage Rock there." And then the Rock shit landed on the. He mosey on down to Manhattan, and he got on the number 4 train, heading right to the Bronx so he could get up and show respect to Derek Jeter. And then he says, "Finally, the Rock has come back to Brooklyn." And then Lana, well, let's just say she was not impressed. And she's like, "Who do you think you are? Only an idiot would interrupt Rusev." And she tells Rock to shut up. And The Rock basically starts to diss Lana, and Rusev, well, he basically gets angry and says, The Rock says, "You're nothing more but a piece of garbage, and this is your last warning. Leave now, or you will be crushed." And then The Rock says another thing. He says, "Rusev's breath is all kinds of butt ugly." He then says, "Oh, Lana, you're beautiful, you're smoking." And she basically agrees. And then he said, "Well, it's too bad she walks around like someone shoved skin off her ass." And I got a laugh out of that one. I mean, whenever The Rock talks, you know something funny is going to come out of it. And then he asks Rusev if he thinks he's going to crush The Rock. And just when it looked like Rusev was going to say something, The Rock says, "It doesn't matter what you think." And then of course Lana's all smiles. Rusev removes her star, and then The Rock uses a little quote from Jay-Z. "Allow me to reintroduce myself," and let's just say he starts laying the smackdown on Rusev. And then after he lays the smackdown, he uses another phrase and says, "If you smell what The Rock is cooking." What a moment. What a moment. And I'll tell you this right now, this has definitely overtaken Occupy Raw as the segment of the year. 5 stars and beyond. I mean, good luck to any other segment for the rest of the year that can try to top this, because I don't see that happening. I mean, because like I said, nobody, and I repeat, nobody expected The Rock to be here tonight. And wow, this was just a moment that everyone's going to forget. I mean, everyone will never forget for a long, long time. Wario, let's just move on.
Yeah, man, how are we going to move on from that? I mean, to be quite honest, I wish this could have been the main event segment. And if this had been the main event segment, oh my goodness. But you were all wondering, was this on during Monday Night Raw halftime? Yes, it was. According to the review I'm reading on ProWrestling.net, they said it was. Perfect timing. What else is there to say? So, oh man, how are we going to move on from that? Well, we will do just that. To the second of our 2 Divas matches, it was a Diva Tag Team match. It was Divas champion AJ Lee and Emma going up against Paige and Alicia Fox. Winners of the match in 2 minutes and 50 seconds. It was Paige and Alicia Fox. I'm going to lead off on this one. This Diva fight wasn't as, it was just as typical and ho-hum as the other one was, but this one was just a smidge better. I'm going to give this between half to 1 star for the effort. I mean, I could call it a dud, but it didn't really have the feel of a dud. I mean, you know, AJ Lee said she didn't want any partners and she didn't want to face anybody else, so she just left and left Emma high and dry and Paige with the Rampage, and that was it. So Paige and AFox get the win. I don't know what this is leading to when it comes to the Diva division, but hopefully we'll get a better idea next week. But for right now, this was half to 1 star for me at best, even though it was just as much of a typical whole hum Diva fight as the other one was. But this one was just a smidge better, so half to 1 star. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, you could pretty much say it was another one of your typical whole hum diva fights, but I'll say this one was better than than the than that Brie Bella versus Summer Rae in that with one arm with Brie Bella's arm tied behind her back. Yeah. I mean, there's really nothing else for me to say. I mean, Anthony pretty much touched on it, so not the 1 star for me. So let's move on to Fletch.
Yeah, I agree. Half to 1 star is the correct rating on this one. It was good for what it was worth. Nothing that would make us jump up and down or anything like that. With that said, Anthony, let's move on.
All right. Next match on our card, it was a non-title match. It was the United States Heavyweight Champion Sheamus one-on-one with The Miz, of course, flaked by Damien Mizdow. Winner of the match in 10 minutes and 10 seconds, The Miz, the awesome one, gets the victory in this one. So with that said, Michael Bullock, your thoughts on the match?
All right, to me, this was the second best fight of the night. To me, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna say probably about. I'm gonna give it an even 3 stars for here. I mean, because I thought this was good for the amount of time it was given. I mean, yeah, and this had a. I mean, this had a. Yeah, I mean, nobody expected The Miz to win this match, but somehow he gets the win, and I mean, yeah, I mean, we did get a little bit of a roll up, but you know what? During that amount of time, I thought it was good for what it was worth, and to me, I thought it was good enough for it to be a 3 star fight. So, yeah, so there's really nothing else for me to say except let's move on to Fletch.
Yeah, I gotta say that it was pretty cool. I definitely without out one of the best fights of the night, actually second best fight of the night. About 2.5 to 3 stars is my rating for it. Um, yeah, a little bit of a clunky finish with the roll up, but I thought the body of work was great. And with the Miz winning that fight, maybe that means he might be #1 contender for the United States heavyweight title. He did beat the champion, so I mean, who knows what's going to happen here? We'll wait and see. With that said, Anthony, it's yours.
2.5 to 3 stars for the fight. Second best fight of the night. I do agree with you on that. I mean, solid match for what we got, and Miz went over, so it's obvious. I think the Hell in a Cell card is actually finally starting to take a little bit of some shape now. I mean, it really needs to. I mean, I understand you got 5 weeks between Night of Champions and Hell in a Cell to build it, but I think we're starting to get an idea of where we're going here. I mean, I think we're heading toward a Ziggler-Cesaro IC title matchup. I think we're also leaning towards the Usos against the Dust Brothers, and I even think we're on the verge of a Sheamus and Miz U.S. title feud. So that could work. So solid match. But one quick observation before we move on. And did you notice that Brooklyn crowd was actually hot for Mizdow during this fight? Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that, to be honest. But it's a typical IWC crowd. That's all I can say about that. But you know how they are. So yeah, 2.5 to 3 stars is the correct rating for this bout. Second best fight of the night, no question about it. So with that said, let's move on. We're gonna move on now to, let me see what we have here. All right, we had this. Now I promised you there was going to be another one of these serious filler segments. We had that nonsense with Kathy Lee and Hoda earlier in the night. Well, here's what made up for it. Television host, news personality, someone I grew up watching. I'm sure you guys did too. Formerly of Good Morning America. The great Joan London came out to address the universe, talking about her battle with breast cancer and the whole Komen initiative that they've been doing for the last 3 years or so now. So, Michael Fletcher, your thoughts on this?
They brought somebody legitimate to talk about a great segment, which was a good segment, and it was well constructed, well done, and everything else. And the thing is that they're really pushing for the breast cancer and for Susan G. Komen, and I think it's great that they're doing it. It started about a week ago with Hulk Hogan talking about the launch of the Susan G. Komen breast cancer initiative that WWE is going to be doing throughout the entire month of October. But the thing is that you always want tremendous people, legit people, if it's from news organizations or anybody else, to jump in on this. And, it's going to also be great stories to hear from some other great people, about, some of the stories that they have, because I really think that the more that they put the awareness out there, or the more that they talk about it, it's going to be more amazing. I mean, we could even talk about, earlier today, Stephanie McMahon was in New York, as we all know, and she was on the CBS radio network, and she was talking with Dana Jacobson, Rondé Barber, with Deb Crew, and she was also talking about Susan G. Komen and the initiative and everything else. And when it comes to that, it does bring something a little special for the fans, and especially, like I said, to get the awareness out and the whole 9 yards. Like I said, last week I was promoting it on the behalf of the Gloria Gemma breast cancer walk and run, and I will also harp on that again for you fine folks to know that this Saturday night in Providence, Rhode Island, in downtown Providence, Rhode Island, they're doing a special water fire for the Gloria Gemma breast cancer walk, and then Sunday morning, I will be in Providence with the First Lady of Wrestling Forum, Megan Silva, and with a few of the others, a few thousand, I'll admit, and we will be and we will be there to witness the Gloria Gemma 5K walk and run, and we will be there to support, the breast cancer. It's a great initiative. It's a great company, great people who works behind the scenes on it, and they've been working for almost a year for this event. Like I said, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be thrilling. It's going to be awesome. And from there, we will go from there. So, I mean, it's great that they're really making an effort for it. And like I said, they're pushing it because it's deserved. It's well deserved. A lot of these young women and older women, a lot of them, if it's really awareness more than anything else. And some women have died because of breast cancer, and it is one of the top leading killers in women. So I mean, it's great that it's being pushed to the forefront now, and I'm so honored that they're doing it on the behalf, and I'm thrilled that they're doing this, to say the very least. And I would say that I really hope that you guys do buy the gear at WWE.com, or if they're at concession stands. I know Derek said that there was plenty of it in Providence on Saturday night. So do whatever you can do to help this great cause, because all the proceeds do indeed go to Susan G. Komen, or for us down here in Rhode Island, it goes to the Gloria Gemma breast cancer awareness. So please do whatever you can do. That's all I can say about it. It was a good segment, non-wrestling segment, but it's also great for awareness, and it's great to promote for a worthy cause more than anything else. Anthony, it's all yours, kid.
I'm gonna make a little change on my scorecard here. I'm gonna move the opening segment to number 3, and number 4. No, I'm gonna move the opening segment to 4. The Cena and Ambrose at 3. This, to me, this Joe London segment was the second best segment of the night. Of course, nobody's gonna touch the Rock segment. There's no doubt about that. No one's touching that. But as far as this is concerned, I mean, this was 11 billion times better than that spectacle earlier in the night. I mean, that was absolutely horrific, to say the very least. I mean, I'm still scarred from it. But to be honest with you, I mean, this was much better. If only Kathy Lee and Hoda were doing this, then I would have been okay with it. But instead, they made a spectacle of themselves. Joan London did not. And I absolutely loved it. Beautiful, beautiful words spoken by a beautiful woman. And that is exactly what Joan London is. She is one of the loveliest, one of the most delightful television news personalities. I mean, I remember growing up watching her when I was a little boy, watching her and the great Charles Gibson on Good Morning America. I mean, brings back a lot of great memories, and it was great to see her. And, you know, she was pure class here, unlike those other two. But, you know, that's all that I can say about it. I mean, out of all the things that WWE has done with the Susan G. Komen Foundation and all that, this to me, if I'm being quite honest with you, this to me was the best thing they have ever done since they started this whole Komen initiative 2 years ago. Well done. This was amazing. And we here at the Wrestling Forum wish Joan London the very best in her battle, just like we do with all the women out there who are going through this most horrific of diseases. And hopefully there will be a day where a cure will be found. And that's all I can say about it. So, and we will not rest until breast cancer is eradicated from this earth once and for all. That's all I can say about that. So, second best segment of the night for me. Far better than that other segment that we had, which was an absolute joke and an absolute spectacle and made me sick to my goddamn stomach. So, Michael Bullock, your thoughts on this Joan London segment?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, good to see Joan London come out and basically, yeah, I mean, basically welcoming all those breast cancer survivors. I mean, this is why I love what WWE has been doing. I mean, the third year, we're partnering with Susan G. Komen to help end breast cancer awareness. I mean, to help put an end to this. And, I mean, you're seeing the superstars. I mean, wearing some of the gear tonight. And they say if you, like, buy the gear, all the money from that is going to go right to help in the fight against breast cancer. I mean, so many women out there who are either fighting it or who were once diagnosed with it. And I can tell you this, guys. My girlfriend's mother is a survivor of breast cancer, so she knows everything about it. And to see the women out there with the courage to fight this. I mean, this is why we and then of course you got here in Providence the that event coming up in Providence with the Flame of Hope. I mean, that's always a great event there. I mean, you see the State House getting lit up, and it's just a touching moment when it comes to that. So, yeah, so definitely a really good segment here. So, there's really nothing else to say except let's move on to the main event.
Main event, 3-on-1 handicap match. Mr. Money in the Bank Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, Corporate Kane versus John Cena. Winner of the match via disqualification in 4 minutes and 45 seconds. It was John Cena. I got to lead off on this one. Another piss poor main event. I mean, these main events lately have been absolutely horrible, and this one was no exception. And what else is new? Authority shenanigans ruled the roost again, or so we thought. Out comes Dean Ambrose. And Dean Ambrose had a hot dog cart. You heard that. he had a hot dog cart tonight, and well, he raised a lot of hell. I mean, this was we talked about how he's the second coming of Stone Cold Steve Austin. This is exactly something Stone Cold would have done a long time ago if he could have done it. This is right out of the Stone Cold playbook. I mean, man, oh man, this was as crazy of an ending as you can get. I mean, I'm going to NA this, to be quite honest with you, because I really can't give this a rating. I'm just going to give it an NA, but I will say it like this. I mean, while the match was piss poor, as usual, I mean, I can't remember the last time we had a damn good main event on a Raw. It's been like 30 years since we've had one. But the post-match was a hell of a lot better than the match itself. And then we get the Authority, Triple H and Stephanie showing up, and then they drop a huge announcement. Finally, we get something with Hell in a Cell implications. Here you go. At Hell in a Cell, John Cena is going to go one-on-one with Dean Ambrose. And the winner of that match will later in the night go on to face Mr. Money in the Bank, Seth Rollins. Hell in a Cell. What else is there to say? That just sold some network buys right there, if I'm being quite honest. If you were on the fence about, shelling out $9.99 for the network, I think a lot of people, the minute they heard that, they're like, I'm signing. That's all there is to say about that. So the match was bleh. It was your usual meh main event, NA. Post match was better, and great implications for Hell in a Cell. I mean, the original plan, I heard this, the original plan according to the dirt sheet was to do two of these. Brock Lesnar versus John Cena for the WWE World Heavyweight title, and Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns, one-on-one, one more time. But Reigns' injury, see ya. Scrap those plans immediately. So what they're going to do, you heard it, Cena Ambrose, one-on-one, winner gets Rollins inside Hell in a Cell, which will most likely be the main event of the evening. Can't wait. I mean, it's weird if you feeling Cena's going to go over. But WWE, if you want a chance to do something right, find a way to put Ambrose over without making Cena look weak. I know that's hard for you. But for the love of God, don't put Cena over. I want Ambrose to win this fight. Because, like I said, you put Ambrose and Rollins inside Hell in a Cell, you let those two main event that pay-per-view inside the Devil's Playground, think of all the possibilities. That's a match of the year candidate waiting to happen in a 5-star classic. NA for the main event match itself. Post-match was better. And as far as the thoughts on the Hell in a Cell matches, I'm down with it. But hopefully they do the right thing and they put Ambrose over. With our luck, they're going to put Cena over. So I already know that's what's going to happen. Because you know how much it'll be predictable. You know how much we hate it. So nothing left to say about it except, Michael Bullock, your thoughts on the main event and all the subsequent stuff after.
Yeah, main event was an NA for me as well. The post match, like you said, was definitely better. I think Dean Ambrose coming out with a hot dog cart, and yeah, that was a little funny when that happened, and then all of a sudden Orton and Kane go out, and Ambrose basically sprays Orton and Kane with the mustard and ketchup, and yeah, then a melee ensues afterwards, and then Cena and Ambrose were they were standing tall in the ring, thinking that they were going to end the show like that, but nope. The Authority comes out, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. And Triple H basically was like, first, who would have thought they'd be back on the same page? They would still get a chance at Seth Rollins, but they're going to have to fight each other. Yep, that's right. Hell in a Cell. It's going to be Dean Ambrose versus John Cena, and the winner of the match will face Seth Rollins, and it will be in the demonic structure known simply as Hell in a Cell. Yeah, Cena versus Ambrose, that should be something good, but as a fan, I want to see Dean Ambrose go over on John Cena and face Seth Rollins in the demonic structure known as Hell in a Cell. But with our look, they're probably going to have John Cena go over and face Seth Rollins. Uh, I mean, I hope that doesn't happen, but somehow I get this feeling it's going to happen. And on the main event, the post-match stuff was better than the main event match itself. Fletcher, it's yours.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I definitely agree with that for the most part. NA is for the fight itself. I think the segment really turned on its head when Dean Ambrose showed up and all hell broke loose. But then, we get the announcement that Cena and Ambrose are gonna go one more time, and then the winner fights Rollins in the Hell in a Cell. As much as I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, it's going to be Cena, it's going to be Cena, don't you think the IWC would love to see a Seth Rollins Dean Ambrose fight in the Hell in a Cell? I mean, that would be more epic, and especially with a fight like that, the whole world would go nuts over that. Did you hear how the crowd in Brooklyn went for Ambrose? I mean, he's monster over. So I get it. I understand it. Hopefully, WWE does the smart thing and actually lets Ambrose go over and let the two young guns get the opportunity, the golden opportunity of a lifetime. Trust me, I just now, just moments ago, I just renewed my subscription to the WWE Network for another 6 months, guys. Do not make me regret that decision. I'm giving you 6 months. So that means my subscription now ends a week after WrestleMania. Just to give you a little heads up of where I'm going. So do what you gotta do, get the job done, and please WWE, for the sake of the WWE Network and for the sake of the fans, do the right thing. Anthony, overall review time. Let's go.
Yes, overall review indeed. But I do want to just share one thing I just found real quick before we do that. Um, just found this little article here. It said that the Dean Ambrose segment in the subway was actually filmed earlier in the day, not moments after his segment with John Cena during the break. What this article is saying is that they just had Ambrose board the train and get off at the next stop. Since they've done these types of angles before where the heel says he's leaving the arena, the idea was to try and convince fans as much as they could that Ambrose would not be back by the main event. And it was at the end we saw Ambrose come back, led to the announcement of the Hell in a Cell main event. Of course, we know Cena and Ambrose, winner gets Rollins. But what they didn't mention was that the loser of the Cena-Ambrose match was going to end up facing Randy Orton. That just got interesting now, didn't it? So, yeah. But they may just be holding that off for next week. So, just wanted to share that little tidbit real quick. So that said, it is indeed overall review time, and I believe it's Michael Bullock who leads off on this one, if I'm not mistaken. So, yep, all right, I am correct. So, Michael Bullock, your overall thoughts on Monday Night Raw tonight?
All right, well, as we said, I mean, this was on the verge of being one of the worst Raws of 2014, and maybe one of the worst Raws of one time. I mean, of all time, I should say. But that segment with Rusev and Lana and the surprise appearance of The Rock saved the show from being a train wreck and disaster. So for my rating, I'm going to give this a 5 to maybe a 6 out of 10 for this edition of Monday Night Raw. And for that segment right there is the reason why I'm giving this Raw a 5 to a 6 out of 10. And without a doubt, that segment was the segment of the night. And you also had, of course, that fight of the night with that 6-man tag with Dolph Ziggler and the Usos against Goldust and Stardust and Cesaro. Second best fight of the night being Sheamus versus The Miz. Everything else was pretty much meh to done enhancements, if I'm going to be quite honest. So, yeah, so 5 to 6 out of 10 for me for my rating. So, that being said, let's move on to Fletch's rating. Fletch.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I was kind of a little busy with something else here. No, I agree. I mean, this was at least a 6 out of 10. I mean, we were on the verge of a 1 over 2. And then, like I said, The Rock showed up, flipped the script, the show went off, and then, they kept it minimal for a good part. The main event not so great, but with everything after The Rock appearance, the show seemed like it had its life. It got life back into the show. So with that said, I gotta say it. 6 out of 10 is my rating. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, I'll make it unanimous. It's between 5 to 6 out of 10. Absolutely right on that. Um, The Rock. What else can we say? I mean, The Rock was just single-handedly saved this Monday Night Raw from being the most piss-poor show of all time. I mean, if it had been the Big Show that came out instead of The Rock, then we probably would have been looking at 1, 2, maybe even 0 out of 10, for God's sakes. I mean, that's how bad this show was tonight up until The Rock showed up. But at least for one night, WWE got a hot moment there. They desperately needed it, and go figure, they had to go and get one of their all-time greats and a future Hall of Famer in The Rock to do it, and nobody saw it coming. We didn't see it coming, and you just gotta love the element of surprise and unpredictability. And I know how hard that was for WWE to go the unpredictable route because we all know how much they love to be predictable. They love that predictability train, and that's one of the main reasons why the shows have sucked as of late. But the one time they had like, oh man, we have to do something unpredictable, or else we're gonna be in trouble here. All right, may as well. Doesn't that make you feel better knowing that you did something right for a change? You actually gave us fans a reason to actually praise your show tonight. I know how much you love that negative heat. I know how much Viniac loves the heel heat, no doubt about it. But you ain't getting any tonight after that. I mean, yeah. So on behalf of all of us here at the Wrestling Front tonight, I gotta say, I gotta do the Wayne's World thing. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. That's all there is to say about that. I mean, thank you very much, Rock. I mean, if it wasn't for you, this could have gone down as not only the worst Raw of 2014, but also could have gone down as maybe the worst Raw of all time. And there have been some bad ones, even worse than all those guest host shows that we had to put up with about 4 or 5 years ago. Y'all remember how god awful those were, with the exception of a few. But oh man, Rock far and away #1 of the night. 6-man, second best was the match of the night as far as the wrestling matches go. And then the only other good match was Sheamus against The Miz. All the other matches were ho-hum, your usual meh fights. I mean, you had a couple of solid matches, the Diva Tag match, Paige and Alicia Fox against AJ and Emma. You also had Swagger and Tyson Kidd. I mean, that was a good match. That was an okay match as well. And then you had those gut enhancement fights. Brie Bella against Summer Rae, Bo Dallas against Mark Henry. That was horrible. And then, of course, El Torito against Mini Gator. That was beyond horrific, to say the very least, and beyond brutal. And of course, when it comes to the other positives, of course, the only other positive I forgot to mention, of course, the Joan London segment. I mean, that was as beautiful as it could get. Well done on her part. And then the segments, the opening segment, and then of course the segment with Cena and Ambrose. And then of course, the low light of the night, the #1 low light of the night, and the #1 low light of 2014, far and away, the segment with Kathy Lee and Hoda. That was the epitome of the words hard times, Daddy, hard times, having to put up with that. So, but thanks to The Rock, it's between 5 to 6 out of 10 for this show tonight, no question about it. So, and next Monday night on Raw, Atlanta, Georgia, Phillips Arena, and unfortunately, we have another spectacle to be on the show tonight. I'm not going to mention the name because Fletch already mentioned it, so I'm not even going to rehash that. But there's going to be a lot of rants coming your way regarding that, to say the very least, because that's going to be major hard times right there. And I'm in the minute that spectacle comes on, click, I'm out of there. I'm not even going to waste my time on that. I'd rather be watching the 49ers and the Rams next Monday night on Monday Night Football in the Dome. No doubt about it. So, all right, that's going to do it for this edition of the Wrestling Forum. We appreciate you all tuning in as always. So with that said, we're going to wrap it up. We're going to make this short and sweet with our shout out to Michael Fletcher. You start it off, then throw it to Bullock, and then throw it to me because I want to end it. So, Fletcher, go ahead.
That's fine. Just want to say thank you very much to all you guys normally for another great edition of the Wrestling Forum. Like the video, leave a comment at the bottom for Florio. And all I can say is that, thank you to the great super fans. You guys already know who you guys are. To my guys in the junior high and high school days, to the guys in the 2184 crew. As always, love you guys. Well, I got a big announcement, but I'd rather save it for another day. I won't blare it out here tonight, but you'll see it soon enough. I'll just say it like that. So keep your eyes peeled to my Facebook page and my Twitter page. I'll have something, like I said, something pretty cool is coming down the pipeline for yours truly. You'll know it very soon. All right. So until then, Mike Fletcher, you know the routine. Husband Ham House. I'm out. Good night. Mike Bullock, it's yours, bro.
Yes, thanks, Fletch. And of course, shout out to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to support our shows, whether it is the Wrestling Forum or Strictly Sports. Doesn't matter. We really appreciate it, and we thank you all so very much for joining us here tonight on another edition of the Wrestling Forum. Yeah. Of course, shout out to our super fans, Dee Dee Woodson, Kevin Woodson, Matt Ward, Jason Hickson-Moss. Shout outs to our friends from our high school days, of course, Al Britterson, Jimmy Alden, Rob Parsons, Eric Carrier, Tom Souza. Of course, shout out to our to the first lady of the Wrestling Forum, Megan Silva, the first lady of Strictly Sports, Kaiser Butler, and of course Daniel Luttrell from the UK, which of course you can read of course his reviews on Monday Night Raw. So yeah, so of course shout out to the Grand Poobah Derek Ferreira, who couldn't be with us. Of course, the ambassador on Twitter for Monday Night Football. So yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it for me. So I'll save my other shout outs, of course, Saturday night for Strictly Sports NFL Saturday. So until Friday night for Strictly Sports presents College Football Friday. It's the Phenom and the Vice President of the Rhode Island chapter of the Yes Movement, Mike Ford, saying thank you all very much for listening to us tonight. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Have a great rest of the week, everybody. And until Friday night for Strictly Sports presents College Football Friday. Bye for now, my friends. So with that being said, Florio, take us home and set the table up for future content.
Will do, Bullet. Will do. Of course, we want to thank you all so very much for tuning in, as always, on this long Monday night. Indeed, we had a lot to say about certain segments, but yeah. Of course, we appreciate all of your love and support, as always. Of course, shout out to all the fans out there, the tremendous fans out there who continue to make the Wrestling Forum and Strictly Sports, College Football Friday, and NFL Saturday the mega successes that they are today. We appreciate it as always. Can't do it without you. You all know that. Of course, special shout out to our super fans, Dee Dee Woodson, Kevin Woodson and the family, Matt Ward, Jason Hickson-Baugh, Daniel Luttrell from the UK, Megan Silva, the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, Kaiser Butler, the First Lady of the Strictly Sports, our friends from our high school days, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, Alvarez and Rob Parsons, and of course, Michael Fletcher. What a show he had tonight. I mean, he came up like a star tonight. And then, of course, our Imperial Grand Poobah, the hardcore python, Derek Ferreira. He'll be back with us in a couple of weeks for the go-home show for Hell in a Cell. So when it comes to the Wrestling Forum, he will not be on Friday night either because he's going to be in Hartford, Connecticut covering the U.S. men's soccer team. But he'll be back on Saturday night. I'll get into that right now, actually. Of course, I'm gonna save the rest of my shout-outs. I just want to remember one quick shout-out here. I don't know if you saw it on the Road Show earlier, but Brendan Kirby mentioned Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling cartoon series. I mean, that was freaking awesome, to say the very least. During the Buzz segment on the Road Show this morning, he mentioned that. I mean, I got a kick out of that, to be honest with you. So I got to give him a shout-out for that. So shout-out to Brendan Kirby for that awesome sentiment. But so with that, I will now save the rest of my shout-outs for Saturday night. So So here you go. Future content coming up, of course, Friday night. I'll be back here with you guys once again. I'll be running the show around 10 or 10:30. I'll check in with Michael Bullock and see what time is good for him. I don't know if Fletch will be joining us for that as well, but Strictly Sports College Football Friday, Week 7 edition. If you thought last week's Strictly Sports College Football Friday was big, oh no. This one is going to be even bigger. Coming off the greatest college football Saturday of all time, all the shakeups, and don't forget, the biggest shakeup-ridden power rankings in the history of Strictly Sports. That's all I'm going to say right there. And another huge week of great top 25 action. Man, oh man, I cannot wait. Friday night, I cannot get here fast enough. I cannot wait to run that show. I'll be here. Michael Bullock will be here. Hopefully, Michael Fletcher will be here as well. That's all I can say about that. So that's Friday night. And then, of course, Saturday night, Strictly Sports NFL Saturday. Derek Ferrera will be back at the controls for that. So I'm glad to hear that. So yeah, that's going to do it here. So until Friday night for Strictly Sports College Football Friday, for the phenom Michael Bullock, and of course our cerebral viper Michael Fletcher, and in spirit the hardcore pipe on Derek Ferrera, this is Ridiculously Over Anthony Flores, and you know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up 14-4 style. Have a great rest of the week, everybody. And until Friday night for Strictly Sports College Football Friday, you've been watching the Wrestling Forum right here on the Toma 25 here on YouTube.com. Bye for now, my friends. God bless, and be good to each other.